Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, April the 23rd. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. This video is for educational purposes only. Your results may have differed from mine and may differ from mine. So, this is the weekly wrap up. All the weekly open gaps have filled. Those traders who trade that method were paid off nicely. For the week, we're 39 pips above the open, 142 off the high, and 57 off the low. Once again, you can see the opening ranges and what's happened. What did price do, within those opening ranges? You can see the opening range for the month. You can see price started in that range, exploded out of it, came back into it, yesterday, Thursday, and today, Friday, opened in it and exploded out of it. For the year, we're 224 pips above the open. For the month, 88, and for the week, 39. Inside bar traders, you had a couple opportunities this week on that weekly inside bar that happened 3 weeks ago. The 38.51 level, as you can see here, paid off really nicely on Monday and paid off again today because the high was at 94. So that looks like a good 40 pips you could have put in the bag if you nailed that trade. Once again, horizontal line trades, no squigglies were harmed during the making of this video. For the range, though, today, only 2 pairs over 100. I guess after what happened yesterday, traders are taking maybe an early Friday, start the weekend early. And it looks like we're going to form an inside bar today. As you can see, we took out the pivot. The pivot was above the open, so those people using the pivot as a bias and fading the pivot, entering at the buy zone, or if you just were a buy zone trader, you were definitely paid off on these hours that signaled entries. Rats, green rats are feasting at the moment. As you can see, the red rats also had an opportunity to feast. Let's shift this over to M15. You could probably see a little bit better. So for the day, you can see we had put in a high here. Red rats feasted. They put in a new high. Red rats feasted again. Green rats feasting. And once again, the prices in the 38.40s, that 40 area, I call it the launch pad with the pound, and you can see here it launched out of that area a couple of times today with 49 right there, or just call it the 50 line, between 40 and 50. It launched out of there a couple of times today for nice profits. And right now, this last launch is taking off. Okay, like I said, we took out the pivot. Okay, I had it on the H4. I'm going to have to save something here because on this missed pivots plot indicator, you don't want to override the current if you're less than daily. Otherwise, it'll show you where the daily pivots are as opposed to the current pivots. So you can see here, we don't have very many missed pivots on the 4-hour either, only up here 39.90. And you can see it barely missed that one, just barely, I think, by a point. Wick zone traders. Somebody asked about the wick zone. It's a TRO 2014 indicator. TRO 2014 HTBL zone for high, top, bottom, low, high, top, bottom, low. And then I just nicknamed it the wick zone because that's a lot easier to say than HTBL zone. So, and it's what it is. It's the wick zone. But that's a 2014 indicator, and you can use the latest, or I don't even remember how many iterations ago of TRO HL5, but the latest and greatest definitely has the wick zone. You can set that in the indicator. Also, in that indicator, you can do rat zones and buy zones. So it's kind of a Swiss Army knife of an indicator, even though I wrote another indicator that I called Swiss Army knife. But TROHL5 has definitely become, if you want to plot a horizontal line, that's the go-to indicator. For the range, interesting today on these ranges, you can see we're at the 9 percentile, 11. Now, I've updated the smart range indicator. I don't know if I have it, the version on this computer or not. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, my decimal digits right here. So if you wanted to put, if you wanted to have the decimal points, like if you're using M1 or M5, you can do that and it'll show the decimals. But when I'm talking about the range for the daily, I don't care about if this is 64.0 or 0.9. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's 64. So 9 percentile. So once again, a compressed daily range. And let's just shift this time frame over to daily. And once again, compressed daily range. So we're going to probably have an inside bar. And 2 days ago, we had a compressed, and you can see how price broke out. Tried to break out at the top, failed, and then came screaming out at the bottom. Today, high minus close, 27. Once again, red rats feasted, close minus low, 37. Green rats feasted. So for those of you new, the rat zone is the area between the high and then 20 pips below it, and then the low and 20 pips above it. Price usually doesn't like to close in that area, as reflected in these numbers. But you can see here we did have a couple closed lows that it didn't pull back out. But usually, if I remember correctly, rat zones about 66% of the time on the pound. We can show those on a frequency distribution chart. On the wall mall method, as you can see here, 60 was the wall mall for this hour. And it went right through it. Now, a couple of things to note. In fact, I've probably be talking about them in upcoming days, but it's kind of like going back to the roots. Count them 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles in a row. And then price reverse 1, 2, 3. So 3 or more is called the buzzard reversal. And so if you sit down on your charts and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, maybe I can take a long here. And so you can see it put in a new bottom, came back into the wick zone of the H1. And then it pretty much, I think the whole low was here, which was the daily open. I think did it get below the daily open? I think it got below the daily open by a pip or two and then came screaming back. So there was a nice trade to be had right there. Once again, that 40 area launch pad, you can see price launched right out of it. So once again, buzzard reversal, 3 or more in a row, same color. Then you look for a reversal. So here, 1, 2, 3, and look for a reversal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reversal paid off. And that's just one simple thing. You don't even need an indicator, even though this one shows you how many in a row there are. And you can see right here, 4 30s in a row, 3 H1s in a row. So it starts, you would think, to start to look for a reversal. order blocks. Order block traders definitely got paid off, especially today. You can see there was an order block formed here, and then price dipped back into it and shot right out of it. One thing about the order blocks, there seems to be so much discussion on what's an order block. Like, is this really an order block? Okay, now prices went out of it and then it broke the low. So in fact, on this indicator here, the order block bars, I'm going to need to put in, like I have on the imbalance zones, where if it comes below here, then this one won't show because it's already been covered. And as you can see here, this one hadn't been covered, dipped back in, and shot back out. But one of the things I've been looking at, in fact, I wrote an indicator for it, is you look for the lowest high. And I think this right here, this bar was the lowest high for the day. Let me see. I can expect why. Properties. I don't have a grid, so I put the grid on. Did that not do it? I hit the wrong button. Grid. Okay. You see there's a little triangle up here. You can slide that over to get more bars on the screen. So right here, here's the opening of the day. And right here was the lowest high. So if you come over here, you see where that lowest high is. Price dipped below here and then came above. So rather than argue, what's the order block, just use the lowest high for the day and then ditto for the highest low. And looking at the day, there was the highest low. You can see price on the next bar penetrated through it, failed to make a new high here, penetrated through that, failed. So even if you want short there's an opportunity to make money here. Second time, opportunity to make big money. Just using, once again, simple horizontal lines. The lowest high, highest low. And you can call that break of structure, whatever. But see, the thing about using these lines, it's very, very, very simple. You don't have to do all that extra learning because sooner or later, everything's going to get down to a horizontal line anyway. And that's why when people ask me, well, which are the methods you like to trade? I go horizontal lines. All these methods that I present for the most part are horizontal lines. And, I was thinking you could put a horizontal line every pip on the chart and trade it. It's like, why not? We have them spaced every 10, but you could literally put them every pip. And this is just showing the frequency distribution for the hour and day that the range occurs. And there's no Friday 2300 candle on this particular broker. So that's why this shows like that. I guess maybe what I could do in the display is if this is 0 and this one's 0, don't display it at all, then we wouldn't have to look at that. So on the H1, you can see, nice ranges here, 13 or better, 5 times versus 3 times when it wasn't. But we like to trade during the hours where it's closer to 100% or 80, where it maybe only missed once, and it didn't miss that bad. So, but this is Friday. So usually on other days, from about here to here, it's all 100%, and that's when we like to trade when price is ranging. So, fellow traders, that's it for the weekly wrap up. I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. I hope you had a profitable week, and the month is profitable too. Next week is the last week of April, so that's the last trading week of the month. So have a fun and safe weekend out there. Be careful. Remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So drain the banks. Rumple one over.